students, I'm Indumati Karthikeyan from Inkara IAS Academy. Today we are going to see about the 4th December current affairs. This topic taken from the Delhi edition. The topic is rethinking representation for a meaningful COP30. This topic is mainly comes under the GS3 conservation, environmental pollution and degradation, environmental impact assessment. That is, a future climate change conference can achieve meaningful outcomes only if there is a honest representation, actionable commitment and a transparency of the intention. So these things happen, then only the representation of the COP30 is a meaningful. So what is a further intro in the news? That is a frustration over the slow progress made during COP29 negotiation in Baku is oddly new. That is a failure, disaster of COP29 with a disappointment. So what is a pioneering methodology of by the Bruno Latour and Lawrence Chibiona? That is, the innovative method was pioneered by the Bruno Latour. That is the professor science of the Lawrence Chibiona. He is a France climate change ambassador and special representative for the COP21 meeting held in the Paris. That is a theater of the negotiation, the lead of the COP21 in May 2015. There has been a week-long public event hosted by the science PO called the Theater of Negotiation. That is on the outskirts of the Paris. The experiment brought that is 200 students from the 143 universities worldwide role play the reimagine the life-sized COP. The goal of the bold pedagogical initiative that is transform the traditional framework of climate negotiation. At the core was radical thinking of representation. That is a Sally Rooney's perspective on representation. The Irish author Sally Rooney writes that the taxation without representation, the environmental devastation without representation, those both are different. That is a key insight for that is even if carbon emission were thoroughly democratically determined, which they are not, why should voters in the world richest countries have the right position, the air, sea, soil, and rivers for the entire population of the earth? There's a global impact on the people living on the Polynesian islands in the or in the Africa have no right to vote in the American Union European election, yet they often bear the brunt of the resulting the environmental damage. So we should give the equal rights, that is granting equal rights for humans and non-humans. In the approach, the representation humans and non-humans such as atmosphere, ocean, soil were granted equal rights in negotiation. The idea was to give voice of the agency or to these non-human entities allow them to express their stake in climate negotiation. Shift from conventional authority is the main criteria, that is a science of nature. The two were subjects of negotiation. The aim was to stimulate truly inclusive representative process. There is a creative negotiation technique is required, that is delegates dramatize and also de-dramatize issues, explore alternative spatial and temporal perspective, and also allow to the non-speaking entities to represent the speak through proxies. The flexibility open new avenues to address the climate change, to reframing territorial sovereignty and also dramatizing the interdependence of the ecosystem and nation. There is a novel interaction, that is the atmosphere directly addressed China regarding the greenhouse gas emission. That interaction forced participation to reconsider the boundaries, and also there is a representation by diverse delegation. The writer who was a part of the Philippines delegation represented a civil society organization voicing the concern of the indigenous, rural, and also the coastal community. So each delegation comprised diverse mix of actors, that is a state, non-state representative, scientists, business leaders, and all the civil society members. They ensuring the broad range of perspectives. And also there is an insight from the simulation of week-long yielded profound insight, that is our delegate underscore the critical need for the communication of interest, values, and although also the territorial concerns. For the organizer, it highlights the logistical and resource mobilization challenges required to facilitate the process of the scale and for the student it revealed alternative pathway, that is advancing the climate agenda, recognize the limitation of the existing negotiation framework, that is a representation of non-human in global governance. One could argue that the prevailing global governance system does not allow for such representation, is a critic it from an anthropogenic point of view, and also there is a while there are a gaps existing legal institutional framework, so it is a non-human via courts, like in case of India, Pakistan, Parliament, Ecuador, New Zealand. So these are the institution is to only engage in legal and political agencies, that is a such tendency stems for the fact that no non-humans are interest bearers having moral standing and also deserving political and legal representation. The conclusion is, if your future COP or achieve meaningful outcomes, the honest representation and also actionable commitment must be paired with the transparency of intention. So the hosting COPs in economies which are heavily reliant on oil, sense, and also mixer signals, particularly when the host nation simultaneously promotes the investment in the state-run oil and gas enterprises. So finally, the let us hope we are not sleep walking through the anthroponic. So we should conclude this thing with a rethinking representation for a meaningful COP30.